with Russell Wilson and the Seattle Seahawks. Here's the kicker, Jason Myers, to get this one started. And off we go from M&T Bank Stadium. And ultimately cannot get this out to the 25-yard line as he's dropped at the 23.
At their own 23-yard line.
As he is enveloped behind the line.
Well, they picked up a portion of it, but not all that they needed. Now that leads to a decision on 4th and 1. Let's see what they decide to do.
And how about this one now? In their own territory, a gutsy call. They're going to go for this on 4th and a yard. They'll run for it. It's Ingram. And he's not going to get the first. I don't even think he made it back to the line of scrimmage. A surprising move here on the opening drive of the game. And the Seahawks, they'll get the football back in outstanding field position. So 1st and 10 now from the 30. Flushed out right. They'll tussle for it, and this is going to be caught. And they are able to stop him, but he does take it all the way to the 2. That'll be marked as a 27-yard pickup. Out of the gun, here's Wilson. And he finds Lockett in the end zone. Touchdown, Seattle.
Lockett, touchdown.
2 yards on the touchdown there. And the Seahawks have taken a first-quarter lead. And he's a little bit on the shorter side as a receiver. Maybe sometimes for the defense, tough to find them. Their next drive, the Seahawks offense. They'll be looking to duplicate that first drive, the one that got them that 7-0 lead.
Of course they would. And look, they're on the road. So getting the 7-0 lead was huge for them, right? Imagine getting up 2 touchdowns on the road, taking the crowd out of the game. It'd be ideal.
From the 34 now, here's 1st and 10. From the gun, it's Wilson. This complete to Lockett. And they're going to have this across midfield and inside. Throwing on 2nd and 8. Wilson, it's caught. Lockett. And he is in for the Seattle touchdown. Wilson connects with Tyler Lockett. And the Seahawks are able to stretch that lead out a bit further.
There's not much that's perfect in football, but that's about as close to it as you're going to get. Score, force a punt, score again.
And both drives were impressive. The opening drive was, that last one was. Now on the other side, though, what's your psyche? You're really behind the 8 ball.
You got to make sure you just hold in there. Survive the early storm. Relax a little bit and try and get back to your game plan. It's way too early for panic.
Extra point up and through by Myers. And it's now 14-0. Takes 13-0. Are you worried at this stage or still too early?
You're worried. You're just trying not to
trying for Brown, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Quandre Diggs. Well, when I looked down, he was kind of shaking his head right after he threw that pass. What did you see?
Well, from a defense's perspective, anytime you have your eyes back towards the quarterback, you're in a position to make a play on the ball, whether it's a big-time play by you or an overthrow by the quarterback. You have a much better opportunity.
That's going to be caught. And he's brought down after a very nice gain.
Complete.
A good pickup there, 26 yards.
1st and goal, Seattle.
How about a guy proving his worth in different ways? Had the big play in the run game to play before. This time, they go right back to him in the passing game. And he comes through with yet another big.
And he will take this one in for the Seattle touchdown. Offense at the line, set to get going. And some dangerous territory. You're already down 3 scores. A 3-and-out here, or an inability to put any points up. This one might be over by half.
Yeah, and what you also have to guard against is calling every play for a big shot downfield. You know, thinking you're going to get all these points back on one drive. You're not. And last time I looked, it's still the first half. I'm not saying you have ultimate patience here, but you also don't have to go ahead and force everything either.
And they've got it well across midfield, down to the 40 before it's all said and done. That one good for 37 yards. So the big play moves him all the way across midfield to the 40 now for 1st and 10. Jackson now. He's got his man. It's Andrews. 7 yards, the pickup there.
Brandon, perfect defense in this situation would have meant that there was an incompletion. They would have picked it off. Okay, so they gave up the completion. But I really enjoyed watching how the defense stayed in sync, stayed in great communication, and as he dragged across each zone, you see him pointing, communicating. There he is, and they passed him off to each defender. Ended up making a nice play, even though it was complete.
1st and goal at the 8-yard line.
First red zone chance now for the Ravens. This is 1st and goal from about the 8. They'll run with Dobbins. And they'll get this from the 8 to the 5. Pickup of 3.
He was taken down by K.J. Wright. A gain of
2 minutes remaining in this first half of football.
The Seahawks 5-yard line.
We remind you that coming up at halftime, Jonathan Coachman will be alongside. He'll have highlights and analysis from Orlando of this first half of action. Dancing, touchdown, Ravens. This defense, so many things to worry about in the red zone area, but you'd have to almost think that Lamar Jackson running the football, that might be number 1.
It should be number 1, and in this portion of the field where things shrink a little bit because the receivers can't run past anyone because they'll run out of real estate, you should have all eyes on Lamar Jackson when the ball is snapped and try and keep him back in the pocket.
Yeah, I don't think that they were surprised he was running it there. They just couldn't stop him, and he ends up in the end zone.
Justin Tucker to kick off for Baltimore.
Tucker now to kick it away following the touchdown.
And that drives coaches insane, doesn't it? When they see that happen, it just doesn't feel right, does it? Plus, you're giving up yardage.
So good starting field position for him here as they come up 1st and 10 at their own 42. Wilson. And incomplete as he was knocked as he threw it, and it took the ball off course.
A lot of times it's that first read that you had. Maybe you get it in pre-snap, and he locked in on his target, but he was covered quite well, and that one's incomplete.
Ball on the 42 as they come up 2nd and 10. And some room to work. Weaving through traffic, and now he's free. And all the way in, touchdown Seattle.
Touchdown.
Chris Carson with his 2nd touchdown here in this first half. And the Seahawks add on to their lead. That's a pretty quick response to that last touchdown drive, and it seemed like they had maybe given up momentum. Not so fast.
No, not at all, because they ended up pushing the lead up once again, and you're exactly right. Thought momentum might have been shifting. Instead, they grabbed old Mo, didn't let him get to the opposite sideline.
He knocks it through. It's 28-7.
Makes the score Seahawks 28, Ravens 7. Jason Myers to kick off.
After the touchdown, here's Myers to boot it away. This taken in about 4 yards deep. And Hill will opt for the touchback. The end result, 21 yards.
Another Baltimore first down. 1st and 10 at the
inside the red zone here. They'll look to throw. And that is incomplete. He couldn't hold on through the contact. Brings up 2nd down.
Normally being a big-bodied receiver plays to their advantage downfield. Go up and make the catch, take the hit, and pick up yardage. But in this case, the hit was timed really well and popped it free.
Trying for Brown, and it's intercepted. Shaquille Griffin with a pick. And to the 12. That's where it stops. The return is halted at the 12-yard line.
They'll take over.
Charles, not only is that an interception, it's one when you were really knocking on the door for a touchdown inside the red zone.
You're actually thinking points. No matter what, at worst, you're thinking kicking a field goal and getting 3. We might look back on this in the second half and say, you remember when they didn't get points on that drive? This could cost them.
Eluding the pressure right. Go. Oh, this is taken in. It's complete. Past the 20. And all the way in. Touchdown, Seattle. DK Metcalf. 88 yards. And the Seahawks are able to stretch that lead out a bit further.
Jason Myers for the...
Well, this is exactly where I expect teams to take a shot. Right after a turnover, you count on the defense being a little bit jumbled coming out on the field, maybe catch them back on their heels, and that's exactly what they did there. They threw it downfield and really created a big play.
Yeah, you said jumbled. They were the definition of jumbled defensively. One play and into the end zone.
Jason Myers to kick off for Seattle.
And after the touchdown, here's Myers to boot it away. Taken about 7 yards deep. And Hill will opt for the touchback.
At their own 25-yard line.
The Baltimore offense at the line, set to get going. And you're under a minute to go in the half, a first half that hasn't been particularly kind to you. How do you think they'll play this?
Well, I think the smart approach is to run out the clock, lick your wounds at the half, and see if you can come up with a strategy to play better in the second. But there's also something to challenging your offense right here. You know, hey, guys, you help dig this hole. See if you can get us out of it a little bit before the half runs out. Let's go make some plays.
An incomplete pass leads to 2nd and 10 from the 25. To throw again, Jackson. Over the middle, and it's incomplete. He was looking for Nick Boyle that time, and that'll make it 3rd down.
They have to like what they've done defensively here at the outset of this drive. They forced a couple of incomplete passes, bring up a 3rd and 10. Don't be surprised to bring a little pressure on this snap.
So back-to-back incompletions, and that has them staring at a 3rd and 10. Oh, looking for Andrews downfield. Incomplete. He had his hands on it but couldn't pick it. But it's now 4th down. Now the Seahawks going to use the first of their timeouts as they stop it with 19 seconds to go in half number 1. And the punt team on now as this one's sent away. Returning it is Moore. Great blocking on the return. It springs him for 25. And control of the football switching hands with very little time remaining until the half. Good starting field position for them as they come up 1st and 10 at their own 42. Wilson after the play fake to Carson. And he goes down. The Ravens able to get to him. Now whistles and a timeout with 3 seconds left in the first half. Protection certainly going to need to be a bit better here on 2nd and 16. Final play of the half. It's Wilson rolling to his right. He'll find Metcalf. And able to rip off a big chunk of yardage before being dropped inside the 40.